Oh, good morning.
Morning.
Welcome back to Negative Ball Knowledge with me, Craig.
And me, Tom. As you can see, slightly different setup here now.
Yeah, much more professional.
Slightly. Not really. It's better though. I think it's slightly better. So,
Well, we'll see. Maybe people will give us some comments and tell us whether they think it's better or not. They
yes.
might not like what we're talking about, but maybe they'll
Yeah.
think that the way we look while we're doing it is better.
Got a little bit of a better microphone here. So,
Well, yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, it's better, better, better.
yes. So, I thought we'd start talking today about Rodri's potential ACL injury. It's not been confirmed yet, but from what Guardiola is saying, he's going to be out for a very long time.
Seems odd that they're talking about yes, he needs surgery,
Yeah.
and yes, he's going to be out for a long, long time, but not said it's an ACL. So
Journalists have said it's an ACL. So Fabrizio Romano has confirmed early on that it was an ACL injury and he'll be out
yeah,
for 6 to 8 months. So who knows?
it's got to be.
Yeah. I mean, it's happened to a very similar time frame that Virgil van Dijk got injured.
Well, yeah,
Same similar time in the season.
and I think like we probably touched on it in our last one. We're not we're not going to celebrate
No.
the fact that a player has got injured and
It's
a
awful.
long-term injury, and it's horrible. And for a player at 28 years old,
Yeah,
it's I suppose similar time when it happened to Verge.
29. He was 30,
Yeah.
going on 30.
It's not a great time to
No,
have that sort of injury
definitely
because
not.
you've not got that long left. But then again, players play until they're 40 now,
Yeah,
if they're
so-
really fit. So you never know. But few players are ever the same after that injury.
No. Virgil van
100%.
Dijk, I think, is an exception.
He's come back, but then I think the point is, I think was it one of the first ones to really start fixing these injuries was Owen and people like that back
Yeah.
in the day,
Yeah.
and they started working out. They had a really good surgeon that obviously worked out how to fix them, and then the physio and all the rest of it that's gone on, and the stuff that goes into sports science and medicine, is massive. And I think they've been able to get because. In the women's game as well, they have ACLs massively.
Yeah.
So many more.
Yeah.
And they all seem to come back and are okay. So I guess he probably will come back, same player. You would think so. Well, do you hope so?
Well,
no, we just said we're not celebrating a player getting injured. No, because it's not like he's brilliant for City and Spain.
But what we all know is the fact is when Virgil van Dijk got injured, deep down, every single rival fan was celebrating that.
Of course they were.
They're not celebrating the injury, but they're celebrating the fact
the loss to Liverpool.
That's the point. It's how big of a loss it is to Manchester City, how big of a loss it was for Liverpool at the time.
Yeah.
You're losing your star player.
Yeah.
With Rodri makes Man City tick. He is that player
He's
that
everything,
gets.
Isn't he?
He is everything for Man
He's
City.
stepped up above.
He scores goals when they need it.
He's stepped up above De Bruyne.
Yeah, he has
into
definitely.
the role of being the one now, isn't he? He's their main man, and he's not. I wouldn't say he's a typical number 6.
No,
because I don't know that there's many teams that are living. Like we've gone to the road of not having a typical number 6 because we've got Gravenberch who does everything up and down. It's a way of playing, isn't it, that gives you a lot more freedom and scope for those players to go up and down and get involved in the game.
Yes.
And Rodri definitely does that. He gives them a huge amount of flexibility, but he's such an enforcer, isn't he? And it keeps that team tight, but also he's involved in everything going forward.
Yeah,
which is crazy, really. When you think of the level.
I mean, scoring goals in the Champions League, scoring a goal in the Champions League final to win it for him.
Yeah,
he gets on the end of things when he needs to. He is everything for Manchester City, and I think that this is where last season, when Rodri was injured for a small amount of time and suspended for a small amount of time, they lost games, drew games, they dropped points.
Yeah.
They struggle without him. They don't have a player to replace him.
No.
They've got Kovacic, who is nowhere near the level. He's a good player, but he's nowhere near the level.
Kovacic is up there, isn't he? Yeah,
but nowhere near the level.
I don't think he's not got the same physical attributes as Rodri, has he? And not, there are a lot of differences between them.
Yeah.
I think the thing is, I suppose it's like anything in it. It's hard to say how much it would affect them because they are such a big quality squad that they will.
They will find a way.
I suppose Pep is a clever manager that he will find a way of playing slightly differently to get the best out of what he's got. I'm sure. But I think they will struggle
in the big games, especially
in some games,
like against Liverpool, against Arsenal. Now, when they're going to have to go to the Emirates and they're going to have to come to Anfield.
Well, and especially when the schedule gets to that point where you're so busy, and then you haven't got any scope to
rotate in midfield. Yeah,
in that engine room of midfield. That's when the tiredness and all of that's going to kick in, isn't it? And these players that have got to step in and fill the void of him are probably going to then start to fall off a bit. Yeah. And that's when I suppose people will exploit it. But who knows? It's difficult to say, isn't it? You know, we've talked many times over the years, you and me, about our rivalry with City. That's Liverpool's rivalry, in case anybody didn't know, I haven't watched us before. They had Fernandinho back in them days. Yeah. And Fernandinho was an absolute beast in that position.
He was.
But I don't understand how he didn't get yellow and red carded more often because of the level of dark arts and fouls and break the play up in a not legal way, shall we say, that he got away with. And Rodri does it as well.
He has filled that void that they missed with when he left.
Yeah, of course.
And that's another big reason why they're going to struggle, because they're going to have to now fill that void with Kovacic doing the same thing, and Diaz's good at doing it.
His natural game, and I don't know whether there's something particularly clever about Fernandinho and then Rodri that they're able to somehow convince the ref that it wasn't a professional foul, or it was accidental, or it was just clumsy, or whatever. But they seem to get away with it consistently. And all right, we've talked about this in our last one. Same with Arsenal. Yes. Arsenal in their defending and their ability to break up play, they seem to be doing the same sorts of things.
Breaking up play with kickoff, 38 seconds delay.
They're delay. Top, aren't they, in the Premier League, of average delay to restart play,
which
38
I think
seconds.
Is a disgrace. Just
but
get
what did
on
they? They say they 9 minutes they wasted from taking goal kicks in that last game.
Just get on with
now. If there's one thing that I really hate, it's those figures for how much the ball is in play in the Premier League.
It frustrates
and you can see games where it's a 100-minute game, say, and the ball's been in play for 35 minutes or something like that. And that, for me, is not football, because you're cheating the fans then. Yeah. And all right.
Fans pay good money to go and watch football.
Fans who just want to win and aren't bothered about anything else will go, well, that's fine, we won. Don't care how long the ball was in play.
If you're in the stadium, you're there to watch the football. You're there to
I don't think like Liverpool fans or Tottenham fans or West Ham fans would accept that. No. They'd be saying, play the game, get the ball in play, show me some excitement, give me something to shout about.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, maybe that's just City fans don't care about that, or Arsenal fans don't care about that.
What City fans? I had to say that. Sorry, I had to say that. Don't get too upset.
Yeah, but you'll be getting comments going, oh, what about all the tourists at Anfield?
Oh, yeah. Well, we can't deny that. There is.
Yeah. Well, there's tourists in football. There's tourists at every ground.
Well, when you're a big club, you get tourists.
Of course you do.
So,
and that's what brings you in the revenue.
Yeah.
For the clubs, most of them legally. Oh, controversial. Sorry.
So, where are we with because talking about like Arsenal doing it, there are many teams in the Premier League that do that. So you've got City that do it.
Yeah.
You've got lower teams in the lower half of the league. Say Nottingham Forest under Nuno Espirito Santo definitely do that sort of thing.
They'll probably point to the fact that they don't get away with it as much. They'll say that it doesn't even itself out.
They do it more obviously.
Yeah, they probably do.
The top players are very good at it.
I suppose that's it, isn't it? And at the top clubs, you're playing with. And I suppose this is something that's come in ever since the European players have come into this country, and everybody has shouted about it, about diving and all the rest of it. But players playing with top players who are better at this type of stuff learn and grow, and are able to do this stuff over the years.
Foden, he does it. England, you see it. A lot of the other City players do it.
And I suppose, no matter what you say, if you don't play them at their own game, you will get beaten. And this is why England used to be naive going into tournaments and playing against the big sides. We were naive because other teams did it. Players were better at it. Of course they were. And they were better at conning referees. They were better at, breaking the game up. They were better at making you lose your momentum and not being able to play your game. And we've started to learn how to do that now because our players are playing with
you
those
can say the same for a lot of teams in Europe.
Yeah.
I think Liverpool, 2018, I think we were a bit naive through in the final against Real Madrid.
Yeah.
They broke up play. They rattled us a little bit.
They injured Salah.
And gave what's his name, Karius concussion before the game, allegedly. It's one of those where you're like, you've got to do better. If you want to win at the top level, you've got to play the opponent's game.
Yeah, I think we've been saying, like, it's funny now because obviously Arteta's now, because obviously City have been talking about, the players have been bringing up the dark arts and the bending of the rules that Arsenal were doing in that game.
Yeah.
And we've just talked about it. We know they were the breaking up the play, the delay to restarts, all the rest of it. Arsenal have been doing that for a few years. We've experienced it in games against them as well, and it's frustrating.
Because
it
really is. That was one of the things that Arsenal under Arteta early on, they weren't physical enough.
Oh no, exactly. They were trying to play beautiful football, weren't they? And that's what he thought he was trying to bring.
The funny thing is, they didn't have the players to play that football.
No, he was trying to bring the Man City style, wasn't he? Of keep the ball, play the ball, walk the ball into the net.
And you could see early signs of it, but you had players like Hector Bellerin. And what was their keeper? Who's that playing at Fulham now?
Oh, No, I can't even remember.
Basically, Gabriel wasn't very good at playing out from the back.
No. Saliba, they brought in.
They brought in Saliba under Emery. Unai Emery scouted and brought Saliba in.
But there's been a definite step change in their aggressiveness.
Last year, since the start of last season.
Yeah.
Obviously, going 4 centre backs.
Yeah. They've ramped up the aggressiveness, haven't they? Yeah.
Because you got a physical left back in Calafiori now this season. You've got Gabriel and Saliba, and then you've got Ben White,
he's
physical.
He is, I don't know, annoying. I bet he's annoying to play against. He's little niggles and digs in it all the time.
But the one thing about Arsenal as well with that sort of stuff, when a player does that, say Ben White has a pop, then the player pops back.
Yeah.
Everyone else in the Arsenal team goes at them.
Yeah.
That's their togetherness.
They've got that
camaraderie,
siege mentality that he's put in place, and that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
And that's what Man United had for years. It was us against them. That's what the best teams tend to do,
Liverpool,
because that's how you build that team spirit and how you get them all to pull for each other, and that's how it works, isn't it? And that's what you do.
Yeah.
I think it's funny though, isn't it? City blaming Arsenal for it and saying this is what they're doing, and then obviously now Lego Hair coming out and saying, "But I worked there for years. I know exactly what they do, and City do exactly the same." Or didn't say the same, but the City dark arts. He wasn't trying to compare them, but he's saying, "Well, they do, this, that, and whatever." So they and he's right.
He is,
like we just said. City have always had that ability to break play up, to slow it down when they want to. The way they pass the ball, it's just I couldn't watch them.
No,
I rarely can sit through a whole City game.
It gets boring
unless they're playing Liverpool, because it's just boring to watch most of the time. And yes, they can speed things up and score very good goals.
Football. They score good goals, but
when they get in front in a game or whatever, and they're comfortable, and they literally just toy with the opposition, that's when I just switch off completely, because it's just boring.
I think a lot of people will agree, because no one is denying the fact that City are very good and they play good football, but it doesn't mean that when they do that sort of stuff, it doesn't mean it's not boring.
No.
And I think a lot of City fans will go, "Well, yeah, but we play beautiful football." Yes, you do, but beautiful football can be boring.
Yeah, and also
it's robotic.
If they're going to just continually win every season, it just turns the Premier League into a farmers' league.
It does.
It becomes like the Bundesliga or
this is why
the French league, and that is not interesting for anybody.
No, and that's where you start to worry about Premier League TV rights. How Are they going to keep developing?
Yeah.
But this is where I think this is why the money in the Premier League keeps the quality. Because yes, City may be winning the league every season,
but there's been a challenge.
There's been challenges, and there's also the bottom half of the table that is so entertaining to watch. You can watch Wolves versus Nottingham Forest and enjoy that game. Yes, it might be not as good quality football, but there's end to end. Teams are going for it. The crowd's up for it.
Yeah.
And Fulham versus Liverpool, that's an entertaining game because Fulham can beat Liverpool. Brentford versus Man City, Brentford can beat Man City.
I think that's probably the big difference when you think about it, isn't it? When you look at all the world leagues or the European leagues, there's I expect England is the only league that from top to bottom you probably average 25 to 30,000 fans per week in every fixture. You know, that's the difference.
Apart from Manchester City. Sorry.
Are we talking about the empty had now?
Yeah, let's not go there. Let's not go there today.
Oh, but Anfield's got no atmosphere. Yeah, okay, whatever.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, okay. Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens, won't it?
It will.
I'm sure that they will come out and confirm that it's an ACL for Rodri very soon.
You know, they would confirm it. I mean, I'm just going to have a quick look on Twitter now. And see
he's in Barcelona, which I'm guessing is where his surgeon is or whatever his doctors are.
Oh, yeah. Rodri, Man City statement. The midfielder travelled to Spain to seek specialist consultation this week. Assessment remains ongoing to ascertain the full extent of the injury, but Rodri has torn his ACL. Confirmed.
We said it, didn't we?
We
were watching it.
We were.
And I don't know whether that's just experience from when we were crying, when I was crying into my beer when it happened to Van Dijk against Everton.
It was all the same thing.
But I was also raging that day because of how Pickford got away with what he did and how anybody could. Well, it was offside. So that means that a dangerous, almost career-ending scissor kick into an opposing player doesn't get punished in any way.
Yeah,
it's just ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
I know. I don't want to go and revisit that because it makes me angry.
No, it does. Because that really. But we did all right that season after.
You know, I suppose at least Rodri can say, "Well, nothing caused it."
Yeah,
it was just one of those things that happens in football. It wasn't even a tackle, was it? He kind of went down under nothing, and just it just obviously he landed funny and it went.
And what with the way that he was looking on the pitch, how he was in pain. Yeah. It's exactly like how Van Dijk was. Yeah. And then limping off with help, you were like, it gave me flashbacks, and it didn't look good,
no.
And I think City fans will be rightly really upset.
So what have I been reading? I've been reading quite a few things saying, and it's obviously it's the way the internet does it, like with clickbait, but it's actually a joke for a change, where it's like, and Rodri will be back for the start of the 24-25 season for City's first game in League Two.
Yeah. That would be, but that's actually. I've seen a lot of people say it. Could that be City? Could that be Rodri's last game for Manchester City?
It could well be.
If the charges come through, and they get found guilty, they get kicked out of the league.
Yep.
City, they're not going to be able to keep him.
Yeah.
There'll be Barcelona or Real Madrid coming in for him.
Yeah.
You'd think some team, Bayern, whoever, Arsenal, could go in for him.
Yeah.
You never know, because if City do get found guilty, vultures to their squad. Real Madrid are going to go in for Haaland 100%.
Oh yeah, let's not talk about him. Annoying,
babyface.
So annoying. The other day, wasn't
he? Yeah, he was a bit of a prick.
He was.
But let's not go there. So it's definitely going to be interesting. Is that going to be his last game for Manchester City?
Could well be. Yeah, because it's at least 8 months, isn't it?
It is.
And normally it's 8 to 10.
And plus the recovery to get back to playing.
Well, it's 8 to 10 to be running again, isn't it? I think. And then it's
Van Dijk was quick because he played in the very two last games of pre-season.
Yeah.
2021-22.
I suppose there are. I don't know. I've never really looked into it that closely as to whether there's a severity of an ACL tear.
Yeah, I don't know. I think a tear is a tear, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think. Yeah, it's going to be what it's going to be. Who knows what's going to happen? He may have well put his last game for Manchester City. And best of luck for his recovery. definitely.
Yeah, he's a good player.
He is a good player.
I can't deny he's a good player to watch. He is. But
we'll have to see.
All power to the league and making it a little bit more exciting this year then potentially, because
next season.
And yeah, we'll see.
Liverpool, Arsenal for the next 10 years.
Arsenal will drop away, won't they?
We'd hope. If Arteta doesn't win the league in the next few seasons, he's gone.
I can't see how, if they don't sign a 25 to 30 goal a year striker, how they can compete on the level with the teams that they're up against.
Gabriel Jesus ain't scoring that.
No. And they also don't seem to be even chipping in with that many goals from around the team.
What's not even being talked about, Martinelli,
Statsman's on it.
Yeah, I'm just going to look. When was the last time Martinelli scored a Premier League goal?
Oh, it's quite a while.
4th of March.
Wow, he's buzzing then.
4th of March in a 6-0 win against Sheffield United.
That was a difficult game then for them.
Very difficult. So this is what's not being talked about enough.
So is he like the Rashford of Arsenal?
I don't know. Because that season when they broke out, where Arsenal suddenly looked like they were title contenders, and we had our crap season, Martinelli was electric.
Oh, he was on fire.
He was scoring goals. He was cutting in.
He was
beautiful
unplayable.
Football. He was unplayable, yeah. And now all of a sudden he's just a bum on Arsenal's
He's
bench.
the Rashford of Arsenal.
Yeah.
Although he doesn't. But then, he does look unhappy as well, doesn't he? So maybe he's
So I don't know, because he's such a good player. We know he has the quality, but where are the goals?
Yeah.
You can't play for a top club and not score the goals.
Not in the position he's playing in.
No.
You look at the players we've had playing those sorts of positions and the amount of goals they get.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I mean,
Mane used to get 20 a season, 15 to 20 most seasons.
Diaz is on 5 now.
Diaz, what did Bobby used to get if he played in
15 at least
round that sort of position? But
I mean, one season in the 18-19 he scored 29 goals.
Yeah,
that season. So you got to think he's got to improve, because
our front three were on a different level back then, weren't they?
Yeah. You had to be there. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it was.
So I think that pretty much wraps it up. We've covered a lot.
Say so.
I think we've covered a lot about Man City and Arsenal.
Yeah.
I think that they're the main two clubs you're talking about at the moment, because Liverpool haven't really played a top club yet.
Maybe are we talking about them too much? As we're Liverpool fans.
Yeah, but this is a non-biased YouTube channel, and we've got to talk about the clubs who are in form.
Yes,
and,
it's very non-biased.
Anyway, thank you for watching.
Thanks for stopping by and spending some time with us. Cheers. See you on the next one.
See ya. Bye bye.